anya kilo konfi ano diko kacho no ko wacho machalo andao mira kwanyo yuet tacho no dong ti anda tera aywe dong di are aywe di are men tika konya kingo mo ki bar yan ko no yan no pe ti dong bin ra ti ni mena tiam wati ti wan kilo arwa pa di lo arwa wati ka chiel dak pa wacha wen watim gino yo watim go yo en nena ni mi watim gino kre watim gino we ngo madama po ol ne ayo ti no konyo kwara watim gino ko man
ka neno mot dong kita da neno ke neno ne pol kare ke neno wa ne dago magitiyu la ka chiel gini la cho gati dong la cho char tim jemi manu mera kin mete kwar no daga mera tim chomo ke neno wa na la cho manu dago loyo tinano ina la cho manu dago loyo poko ti obet pegen eni pamon eni pacho eni ne la ten ke kano tim la ten la cho nyu la ten da mero bet pe dan wan mero ngi tim jemi wen maketiyo ho ngi yo kala cho mero ngi tedo da ko ngi tedo nyaga mero ngi ti ma kiri wa ma wubu tim kiri ma en be mero tim a wubu mero ngi jemi mero en tim ki ma nyaga tim mo wen
arba we ga tiga konyo anni ero neno keta ana diu kere ki po ke chani ko ku diku bari wo tiang mano tiga ne ite ti gwek me bi la te ngi ne dokai ti do ba man madama dong kete enini pingo ko ndok pe tunya ko o te u ko nga utam akonye dia tunyo biar kene welngo konya gera tiga konya peo ne kita na longe kere ngene wan mon wadonga tutwal dokai kidi make di budget no wi kan be ting don be peki konyi ti don wi do bo oromane mir ki konyi en be miro neni gena kumat timaraj pedang ngi boja wani tim gino nyo no mir el tam nem be papi ma wa be cha di jok irani pa balu chawa atiu ki chawa ka ti ki chawa ni chawa ki ni ka arni a chere kulu aga mu pi aramu chere grubi na aramu chere chuk newe pen ka ini I chere kuruti mabu bi bar be chawa ma dit newe pen men no ngo mi chere kulu ko chere no da duong ti do cha mi chere ngo chuk do pe ara ka pi ti mabu bi bar be chawa ma dit
pini ene bene gitung bara pine konyo wa mabe mada dok bene chok bi balu chawa keri bor gini moni kano bini jolo yor dok ngoko jemi ni po bale ki kano en be pa pini eno bi dok cher mail mo mabu.
The community perspective of a man doing some domestic role like washing clothes, like cooking, some people take it in a very funny way. But that one depends on the what? On the culture. So they normally believe that it is the women supposed to do that. But now, some people normally see when you are doing this domestic work, women were supposed to do culturally. They look at you in a very negative way.
Anono para mercho ripti kini ke dago alis menyo kare ke dago pene dago ke wego tiyo kene paro menyo mwagane wore yotiyo ko peno chao pene pobo no chao wan no tiro beri paro pobo no chao ma luak wek e ben maleng nyo pobo no chao me wor ken lo wori logo kira no wunyanga ti kere keno gena ana no be pa cho wego ka ori ti riba nga ti juor be dak weo kare mo ni beru tie ma mo ni beru tie kenu
A lot has been done with this We Care project in the community. The most concrete one is the creation of water sources, the different water sources. The water sources are now nearer to the community. Say, for example, the pregnant women, they cannot move distance to look for water. So then, the creation of these water sources has made it easier for them to access and also easier for them to get water easily, more than those days before the introduction of this kind of We Care project.
So right now, in the Finance Committee, we have been able to pass a budget to establish the parish development committees in the 32 parishes. And the 100 million that is meant for each and every parish, we are going to put some good allocation to women groups so that they can use that rotational fund to work for gain. So this would reduce the time spent on unpaid care so that they can take advantage of these funds and put them to good use for a win-win situation on that.
Ma jo me paramu bukelo project me lok kimon kicho per cho koimon ka cha no pire no pe walite no cho to mer ken mer ko cheru diko de na wa cha ba di cha ri o mo tian mano ma ya ko du no to mu tin no du ka do ne mer chet ka protel ba ne eta go be cha ma from do kelo don project enene gu fonyo dano ku be cha yom twin pen ka cha no ma mai ken pe la ten ne to wan do no do to no ti ser e ku be cha ba dan ti ko be ma be community fonyo ti mu rama
like an kitung bora ano luenyo pete peko no luenyo ada kit mo ken bat ki fonyo ma be ma foramo mi ko na lake atia ma be dak en ki ko en ki foramo ma gomino fon watika chatune ikin ping group mu kene giti ngeji ye ma gitika foyo ma taka da ngoma foramo tika timune I group ma pat.
When we started this work with Oxfam, I remember the first research we did with in partnership with the EPRC, that is the Economic Policy Center at Makerere University, was to try and see how much time is spent around care work. Care work is activities or work that is given without any economic benefit, in simple terms, and this is work that is mainly done in the domestic sphere or in the community. And largely this work is done by women and girls. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now taken up certain indicators in terms of the time spent by women and men in doing unpaid care work. And that provides impetus for planning in this country. We engage with the Ministry of Energy. How do we get energy to the women? How do we ensure that energy is affordable for them to see that aspect? It has also evolved through working with Ministry of Water. How do we ensure that this water is more accessible, affordable for women? And it's also available because most of the time women and girls are spending time fetching water. We've engaged with Ministry of Trade. So how do we get women out of the domestic sphere into the public sphere to do activities that are economically engaging and beneficial to them? It has also evolved to the extent now we're seeing at national level, we are able to engage at policy level. The Ministry of Gender, we've been able to engage with Ministry of Gender. We even put in place a working committee of how we can influence care work in all the government MDAs to ensure that they reduce the domestic work burden for women.
We're very particular about unpaid care and domestic work. And we are running campaigns and work around this, basically because we are very concerned about gender inequalities, and gender inequalities is very closely related to unpaid care and domestic work. And therefore, we are working on this to ensure that they can also find a time that is much needed to engage in productive and paid for work. In that way, we believe it will close the gap between women and men.
mar cher chu pien ngo mira chere chure a chare anong siane ba konyo pia nyim a chuki te school ne ka dong ini beru kuman ino chiana gwe chiana mai ken beru pere pien mere be no ka go miado pere mere chere chure inong siane idugi nen ngo ki ngo go ba jerie
Chalo an ano ni gini tika meto kero mi ripe mi timo jemi gang la bonga poka wate tima tek doka tika neno ne wate peti kino wane daka na keken tika gutu wali teno ma wati ken dino ma tika yomo iha omi obene wacho gina ini kuya kirwa kirmi loke gang tika loke pe dano wenchie agonya mi wacho ngoma en pinge kila wore be mi ye ni mikipunye weke nge ma yomo iyama tek omiyo watika chero.
So men can actually change. That is a lesson learned. And for that reason, we must sustain the advocacy, we must sustain the conscientization, the change of attitude. The other lesson learned that progress is slow. Change of attitude is slow and we can't rush it. For that reason, such programs, such projects are very, very important.
One call for action that would be important to reducing the burden of unpaid care and domestic work on women and girls would be to invest in public goods such as access to clean water within a very close distance, access to health care services for the public. We know majority that uses the health care are women, and also access to quality education to bridge that gap.
Dagma, ti dagma be ma wo, yang jal bejo, ngi kwa yukija. Omiyo kita en po kere, ano dite tika meta mera era, mangene kache nen wa mete kere ma ria ma po donyo. Menyuen na ne cho ber ki gang mabe mamati ye da ko ye ber ma yon
ana wunyo ke koma yon twin ke ken no me ne ka pen ka ini bera dana yon twin no diedo ka ini be mo no to be ga jurgu ma yon twin be tie yon twin be rupe cha we ne ber ka pa ki ken ka ber ka pa ki ken yon twin pe de go be cha ma no te ka chien no te andu ki school o wa no te o mi o cham yer wa cha ko ngo wa cha o gane mi o mbwa ke te anene atino timo gana komanda o da te ana tikan yang ka do no aba wan wa reibu tam ka chien mo no ber ka chien yon twin ke ni ken no ni ang biro kene ni ang biro ke mo ne ni am no iyo man ka do no yon twin pe ni no wo ber go me ki ken no ni gong pa da ne pe ne we en ko be cha mo te ka chien we yon twin me na ka chan chwe ko ma tira ka chwe ma ko be pe pe yom twin wa te ber ka chien wa ne no ti an ke te ko kere ma be